Welcome back to the prediction show. This is a Sunday bonus episode. This is the bet of the day page. We're going to show you that in a moment. We're also going to take a look at the Premier League fixtures from yesterday, just do a bit of a roundup there. And then we're going to go to the trends pages, take a look at some of the games being played today from around the footballing world. And then we are going to end with the bet slip generator as well, showing you how powerful that tool is in creating doubles and trebles. So without further ado, let's get into it. Good, solid win for Liverpool. Crystal Palace don't look their usual selves, do they? I think Chalobah, first start for him, did well, but they are struggling to fit in Mateta and Nketiah into the side. Fulham should have won at Manchester City. I watched the entirety of that game and they were absolutely superb. Game plan executed to perfection. If Adama Traore could finish, they would have won that game. I have no doubt about that. We looked at total shots for Man City before this one in the earlier predictions video on Friday, and Man City, I think they had 13 shots, which compared to more recent games, Fulham did a great job of not just stopping Man City, but then breaking on them as well. Man City's goals, edge of the box both times. Kovacic, I think they were pretty lucky here, Man City, but that's what champions do. They get wins when they're not playing at the best. And I, like many, had Haaland captain, unfortunately. Arsenal, 3-1 Southampton. We had Southampton to get over one card in this game, and they had 3 cards by half time, and by the looks of it the game died down in the second half because there was only 3 cards, so that was a good one. Brentford have made it 9 of the last 10 games now in terms of BTTS landing. We looked at that before the game. We earmarked this one for BTTS as well, and you can see now this season 86% in terms of BTTS for both Brentford and Wolves. But for Wolves, it is more misery. It is more goals conceded. They had a negative 13 goal difference across the last 10 games coming into this one, and now it's even worse. Big win for Leicester City, and we had BTTS for this one, didn't we, in the predictions video from Friday, and you can see XG of 2 for Bournemouth. They hit the post twice, they had a goal disallowed, and they had 17 shots in this game, but they just couldn't convert some of those chances, and they couldn't get them on target, to be fair. 2 shots on target out of 17 is not good enough. It means that Leicester continue their run of scoring in every single game as well, which when I first saw that was quite surprising. West Ham 4, Ipswich 1, great win this, a needed win for Lopetegui, and 2 or more goals in every game so far for West Ham this season. 0-0 at Goodison Park as well, and again, if you look at the live XG here, 2.5 for Newcastle on odd alerts, so maybe this is a game that they should have won compared to previous games this season where they've had low XG, but they've ended up winning through wonder strikes from Barnes or whoever. So that was the Premier League yesterday, and the Premier League will be back in over a week because it is the international break, which nobody enjoys, let's be honest. So now let's jump to the trends section and find some games for today. So here we are then with trends, and this is trends for the next 24 hours. You can get to this page and it's always up to date. As you can see, we've got a live game here. Guadalupe, they were 1.44, they are 1-0 down, so interesting opportunity here in play if you are somehow watching whilst I'm recording, which you're obviously not. So home wins, draws, away wins, BTTS. Bologna against Parma, it has happened so far in 11 out of 12 games, BTTS, and 1.75 is the odds. What I'm going to do is say, let me know if that hits 2.5. I will save that, but what I'm also going to do is open it in a new tab, and we will just have a scroll through this overview page. Rigas FC, another interesting one, played against Galatasaray, didn't they? So there is potential. They're away from home. They gave an almighty performance against Galatasaray. There's potential there for, I'm not saying an upset. They're clearly one of the best teams in that league, 1.1 odds for the away win. So maybe we can go over 2.5 goals, BTTS, if they are feeling a little bit of something in the legs from that Galatasaray game. That's how you have to think about these sort of games. 3 p.m. that one. 2 p.m. Bologna against Parma, and let's take a look at another game as well. Over 1.5 goals, also 100% for Bologna and Parma. Interesting game, that one, appearing on a few of the trends sections. Just a quick one before we go any further. If you want to see a bet builder for Aston Villa versus Manchester United, check out the previous video on this channel. We put together a bet slip for that game, and these are the Premier League fixtures for today. Chelsea, Forest, Villa, Man United. Could it be Ten Hag's last game? Let us all know in the comments. And then Brighton against Spurs. Interesting stat about Brighton. In the last 10 games, there's been 5 red cards for their opponent. That is just mental. One was for a manager, to be fair, but 5 dismissals in the last 10 games. Will Tottenham keep all of their players on the pitch today? We'll just take a look at this page and then we'll click into some of the sections so we can see the best and worst of these stats. First half goals, Wolverhampton Wanderers women against Rugby Borough women, and the odds will become available, so we'll just say let me know if it hits 1.8. And I like to do that on quite a few of the first half goals. And again, oh sorry, it's different, Bologna this time. We'll just do that, 1.8. Let me know. You get the idea. We've got over 8.5 corners as well, half-time result. I just want to show you a page as well that some of the new subscribers here might not know about, and it is the Bet of the Day page. So what this page does is uses the probability model and ranks all games being played today by the probability model for whatever you're looking at. So at the moment, as you can see here, we're looking at the full-time result. We could switch this to double chance, BTTS, 1.5 goals, over 2.5 goals, half-time result as well, which is an interesting one. Not necessarily if you're directly betting on half-time result, but it can lead to interesting markets or alerts on the game for other markets, and so can the double chance and BTTS as well. We'll take a look at full-time result and see if there's any games here worth checking out. So we've got a value bet here, and you can tell by the highlight, we've got a value label here as well. Rivers United against Aqua United, and 1.46, and we could put a value treble together here. We've got a game from 6 p.m. here from Algeria, again 1.42, 1.47. Let's take a look at some BTTS games as well, see if there's some value there. Again, it ranks by highest to lowest, so we've got value straight away here, 1.4. And the higher the probability, the less chance there is that there's going to be odds for some of these games. If we just go to over 2.5 goals, for example, most of these games, you can see there is some with odds and there are some value bets, of course. But these games, the odds that are available right now, it's likely to be over 3.5 goals only being offered. And that is also where the alerts come into play, because if there isn't a goal in the first 10-15 minutes of this game, let's say Rangers women against Motherwell women, we can set an alert for over 2.5 goals and the odds will shift, the market will shift, and over 2.5 goals will become available after 10-15 minutes. So it's the same with BTTS for games where it is not available. As you can see, there are some, the first 6, the highest 6 games, but it will become available after 10-15 minutes. So setting alerts on those games can provide a lot of value in play. Man United under 21s against Liverpool under 21s. Let's check out that game. So the PDL, the Premier League Development League, has been amazing for me for years now in terms of what I was just talking about, BTTS alerts and over 2.5 goal alerts. We can just look at the probability model here. So the away team favoured, but if we look at the over 2.5 goals percentage, 74.94, we can take a look at some of the results from these teams. And even though it is, under 21s football, markets are available, over 2.5 goals so far in every single game that has been played by Man United's under 21 team. Liverpool under 21s, it's the same, isn't it? Over 2.5 goals in every single game played. We can look at the odds comparison. As I say, under 21 football, there is still no shortage of available markets. Now, this one, even though it's youth football, it's still a rivalry, so you might still expect a slightly different game based on it being Man United versus Liverpool. The young players still understand the rivalry. So 1.3 is the peak at the moment. So what we can do is go to the odds and we will go to goals here on the alert section, and we'll say, let me know if that hits 1.6. And then I will go in and investigate. And when you get the alert, it comes with key stats like the amount of shots, the current pressure, and also key stats like this, the actual amount of goals that have been scored by the teams on average. So 3 goals on average per game so far for Man United's under 21 team. So they've both scored in every single game they played, but also interestingly, no clean sheet for Manchester United. So BTTS is something that I would certainly be checking out because it has happened in every single game that they have played so far this season. So we will now jump to Bologna against Parma. We looked at that game. We got this game from the trends pages, and we can take a look at some of the data here. I like to start with the results, actually. Just gives me a good overview of the teams, and we can see straight away BTTS in all but one game. That game was against Napoli. So they're scoring against the majority of teams in the league, just not the top tier teams. And do you think Parma are a top tier team? Well, what we can do is take a look at their results, and we can see that I wouldn't put them in that category. What I would say straight away, though, is that they played probably tougher games, certainly towards the start of the season, Fiorentina, Milan and Napoli, then Udinese, compared to Bologna, who have played Napoli, Udinese, and then that's sort of it. Atalanta, to be fair as well, at home, who they scored against, 3 1-1 draws in a row. So they are a bit tighter at home, but they are still conceding in every game. They've only lost once as well, which should be noted. Absolutely, they've only lost once, Bologna. I think they did well last season, didn't they? But they've lost a few players. If we could just take the last period of games, you can see they don't lose many games at all. If we look at all competitions, you can see that good form last year got them into the Champions League. They lost to Liverpool, so that's also something to note, that they are back at home after an away trip at Anfield. How much did they give in that game? Let's think about that. Whereas Parma haven't played since the 30th of October, but they are winless in the last 4 games. But you can see they can score. That's not the issue here. Away from home, they've scored in the last couple of games and in the majority of the last 10. Bologna at home, they don't lose many games, do they? The only loss in this stretch, which is a decent sized stretch, is to Inter Milan, who of course are Serie A champions. 1.75 then for BTTS, Bologna, Parma. Let me know what you think about that one in the comments. Also, check your YouTube notifications, because if you commented on the previous video, one of you has won a month of Odd Alerts Pro, and the same goes for this video. Let me know what you are on today. What do you think is going to happen in any of the games that we mention on this video, or any of the games in the Premier League or Serie A, Bundesliga, wherever? Just get your predictions in. We'll all share predictions in the comments, and I'll see you there. If you are a pro member as well, you can join the Discord, where we share thoughts and predictions and whatnot as a community all the time, leading up to the weekend especially. There's fantasy football chats in there. There is live channels, as you can see here, where you can post live predictions and whatnot. And there are rules. You've got to post reasoning, because we don't just want people posting throwaway tips. It's not that kind of place. You have to post reasoning, which improves the quality of each tip. So if you are a pro member and you didn't know about this, get in there, and if you've got any questions or you need support, this is the best place to do it. Just at me when you're in Discord, and I'll see you there. So the other game that we found from Trends was this one, Latvia, and Rigas are away from home here against Daugavpils. And if we look at the overall form this season, it's a bit of a mixed bag, isn't it? But what I do like about this league at the moment is that they are deep into it. 31 games played against 30 for Rigas. And if we look at the goals scored, 1.16 per game. So despite the midweek heroics against Galatasaray, which we can see here, 2-2, their away form has been a bit patchy as of late. Where are this team in the league? FC Daugavpils. They are 5th. So, there must be a big gap. Let's just have a look. There must be a huge gap between the top teams. So 5th place on 40 points, and the top 2, both the Rigas, Riga and Riga FS, 78 points and 75. But of course, Rigas, because of their European adventure, they have 2 games in hand and they're 3 points clear. So I would expect them to win this one. And one thing that I'm sort of gravitating towards, although when I look at these recent games for this home team, I'm second guessing myself here, because I was going to go Rigas and over 2.5 goals, because then that sort of does cover if there is a goal for the home team. They win 2-1, 3-1. Instead of guaranteeing BTTS, you could also then have 3-0, which I don't think it's outside the realms of possibility that this team can go away from home and score more than 2 goals. They've scored 2 goals in the last couple of games, and they've scored over 2 goals in quite a few games, as we can see here, 4-3, 3-6, 1-2. They're a very good team. They are the best team in the league, as the league table suggests. It's not always just about what you think will happen. You have to go and look at the odds and see what the bookmaker thinks will happen, because it's them that you're sort of fighting against. BTTS is 2.5 here. Now, it depends where your head's at, how much you think that Galatasaray game has taken it out of them. Let's just take a look at their away form again, just to see how many times they've actually conceded away from home. We can do this much easier by just taking a look at the home versus away form here. They've conceded 0.67 goals per game. So in terms of conceding, Rigas have conceded in 60% of their away games. They rarely concede more than once, though. So 2.5, it might be an interesting single. Let's have a look at the BTTS probability on here, 57.49. So implied odds of 1.74. So it's actually a value bet. So the probability model giving us 1.74. Interestingly, let's do a fixture simulation. We get a 2-1 Riga victory. And during this simulation of 10,000 games, the away team won 64% of those games. In the simulation, the most common scoreline was a 2-1 victory, 0.96 home goals per game across those simulations, and 1.98. So could be a tight affair. And of course, the model knows how often they've played, but the gravity of the game and the tiredness of the players. Over 2.5 goals could be interesting at 1.44 for this double/treble. You know what? Let's go for it. Let's be a bit adventurous on this Sunday. And I'm keen to say this. I'm not a tipster. You are free to think outside the box. You are free to go over 1.5 goals. You are free to go for an alert on the away win. You are free to go for over 2.5 goals and Riga's away win, which, as I spoke about before, covers the sort of 3-0, 4-0, as well as 1-2, 2-1 outcomes. So let me know what you think about that one, about that game in general. And now we'll jump back to trends, take a look at a few other options from that page, and then we will go to the bet slip generator. So I think what we can add to this is potentially an over 1.5 goals game, and this page is usually full of 100% records, and today is no different. We're going to look at the next 24 hours, and we can see that the odds are pretty low as expected, but actually the top game here from Germany, 6 out of 6 so far, 1.25 odds. I mean, it's still low, but it's higher than the rest of the games, quite frankly. And if you go to page 2, it's all still 100%. Page 3, we then get some 94%. LA Galaxy underway right now. 1.25 seems to be the peak odds for all these games. We've got a 1.33 here at 2 p.m. We can take a look at this one, and we can see that there's an average of 3 goals per game for the home team as well. Both teams scored in the majority of games, over 1.5 goals in every single away game. Just 67% of games for the home team. And if we look at the goal scoring output, though, that is quite comfortable. The home team scores in 83% of their games. Now, another way we can use the software here to find the game that we're looking for is quick filters. So just hit the filter icon up here, and we can lean on the probability model over 1.5 goals. Let's say 70% or higher, and then the trends page, we could see the odds, but there was no filtering functionality available. The trends page is quite simple in what it does. It's ranking every team in the world that has a game in the next 5 days by the stat that you pick. So if we pick over 1.5 goals, it's just going to show us the teams that have had over 1.5 goals the most. So this is how, if you want more control, if you want more flexibility, this is how you can do it. So we're filtering for the probability. We've already done that. And now what we can do is also filter for the odds. So we can go to the odds section, and we could say, I want the odds to be 1.3 or higher. We hit save, we hit search, and we get games. So we get games from Japan, we get games from Czech Republic, Korea, Segunda in Portugal. I'm looking at the odds by default here, but we can look at the stats if we want to. And we've got a game from La Liga, Girona, 13th, hosting Athletic Club Bilbao, and we've got a rivalry here, which could be an interesting one to check out. 8 games played versus 10 in Poland, and you can see there over 1.5 goals in 75% versus 90%, and Lazio against Empoli as well. Lazio BTTS in every single game that they have played this season, and over 1.5 goals as well. That could be an interesting one. Bristol City versus Cardiff is also there as well, so you can see this is a nice way to get a short list of games really quickly. There's a reason it's called quick filters, to be honest. And what we can do also is sort by the probability model. So now when we hit search, the games at the top will be the ones with the highest ranking. So Girona again appearing there. Panathinaikos against Olympiacos. We've got some good games today, by the way, on Sunday. And again, this is why I like quick filters, because you come across these games that you would never have come across, really, or that you wouldn't even know were happening. And what you can do as well, we've got 2 games played here. You can just add another rule. Let's just show you how you do that. Matches played. Let's say I want both teams to have played 5 or more games. We hit save, we hit search again, and then those games that we saw near the top will not be there anymore because you want a decent sample size. And as you progress into the season, you can just keep notching that value up. I like to go 12 or 15 games once the Premier League and all those EFL competitions have got there. So you've got this game here in Sweden, Djurgården against Pittsburgh, over 1.3 for over 1.5 goals in most women's football is not bad. Let's take a look at this one. So just 5 goals scored away from home. The model is probably expecting the majority of goals to be scored by this home team, maybe a 2-0 victory or something. We will leave that one just because the away team scares me. So I've just enabled the probability model on the scroller just so you can see that, you know, if you're looking at games at the top and you're scrolling down, you're thinking, oh, but these games might not be as high probability. Just remember, we are filtering on the probability. We're filtering for 70% or higher. So any game that you see, regardless of like whether it's first or even if it's down here, the implied odds are still like 1.4. If we can just scroll this across, 1.4 implied odds here. So Seville against Real Betis, interesting game. Let's take a look at the stats. Both teams scored in 75% of games. That's a nice start. So I'm going to add this game into the mix from the Portugal Segunda. This will complete our treble before we jump to the bet slip generator. And they've conceded in every away game, this team. And as you can see, over 1.5 goals in every game, BTTS as well, in all but one game. So feel free to check this game out. And any game as well. Copilot, a few of you have asked in the comments, what is Copilot when you see it here? You click on it, and it gives you, using the probability model, it gives you text-based insights on games. So you can see we've got Monar favoured, but Jerezzo could surprise. And then it gives you a little synopsis of the game. You can click next. It will go away, get another insight, and then give you one, and it'll give you the prediction as well, the prediction from the model. And you can click on the game and it'll open it, and then you can go straight into the data and check it out. So yeah, that's what Copilot is. Right, let's add this to the treble. So this completes the treble, 5.68, much higher than I usually go for. As you know, usually try and get around evens, between evens and sort of 3.5. But I just fancied that Rigas one, and they've already done wonders for us in the week, didn't they? We had them on to score and actually for BTTS to land in that game against Galatasaray, and it did in one of the many winners this week. So thanks for all the support on the video. We are going to jump to the bet slip generator in a moment to create some more that you can check out and just show you how you can use that tool, because if I don't make a video, you know, what are you going to do? So when you open the tool, it looks like this, and it will save your settings, and it's saved mine from the last one that we did, which is an over 2.5 goals double. I'm actually going to go and put on my usual, which is home win and over 1.5 goals. And you can see, just like we were with quick filters, we are filtering for the probability model here and 70%, and home win 65% or more. But interestingly here, we are looking at value bets only. So let's do next 48 hours. So you can get on some of these across Sunday and potentially Monday morning. Let's hit get. And then we get some games, and the starting odds here over even. So Plateau United from the Nigerian Premier League. Infamous for its home wins, shall we say, 1.4, and then another game from Nigeria, so a Nigerian double, and I think they're available on Bet365 and many bookmakers as well, but not all of them for obvious reasons, potentially. We've got a game from Bulgaria, 1.6 value bet here, 71.95% probability. Fratria against Strumske Slava, and then an over 1.5 value bet, even though it's super low odds. The Switzerland Super League is 1.27, and Zurich against Lugano. The Switzerland Super League for goals and BTTS is fantastic, especially for the alerts. As I mentioned before, 1.27. Let me know when it hits 1.5, 1.6, and you'd be surprised how many of these games start slow, but then once the first goal goes in, if Lugano get an away goal, then Zurich suddenly open up and it becomes a basketball game. Scrolling down a little bit, we've got another home win here from 6 p.m. Guatemalan Premier Division. Now you might be thinking, Guatemala, I'm not betting on that league. It is one of the most profitable leagues for home wins and for double chance. If you saw a video that I did way back on last season's data, this season has started just the same. Double chance, if you bet every single every game in this division, Double Chance, is profitable over the last 5 years. And not just profitable, but we're talking thousands of pounds. And you can go and check out that data on the leagues pages on Odd Alerts as well. You can check out the profitability of every single league in the world. Aberdeen Hearts as well. This is a nice double from the look of things. Yeah. Let me know what you think. And we see that the Djurgården game is also there, the one that we found with quick filters. That just so happens that it was a value bet. You Uzbekistan Professional Football League, 1.72 there. And you can change the settings, what you could do. If you wanted to take off the value bet function, you would probably get more games, because, not necessarily for home wins or away wins or anything like that, but for over 1.5 goals, it's rare that you get so many games because of, high probability. The bookies are just not going to offer it. That's where the alerts come into play, as I keep saying. I know I keep banging on about it, but here, this is really nice thing to put together. Over 1.5 goals at doubles that you can get to evens. Yeah, really nice. Real Sociedad, Atletico Madrid. You can see that it's repeated a couple of games. I will work on that, but again, it's because there's not so many games that match these settings, because A, high probability, and B, value, especially on over 1.5 goals. So that was the bet slip generator. Let's jump back to the homepage now. So that is the end of the video. Let me know what you want to see in future videos. 500 likes on this video and I'll do one tomorrow. The Riddler, well done to you. We will end here. You are the game week winner for the Odd Alerts Predictions League. Well done. Game week 83. Wow. And very, very close this week. Rob, long-time user, appreciate you, mate. 44.97 points. I appreciate you, but you just didn't do enough this week, unfortunately. And it looks like you lost your last prediction, because the Riddler is on a 1-game streak, which took him into the lead. Very, very tight. And the Riddler will now win a month of free pro. The Riddler reminds me of Joker, which makes me think I need to go and see the new Joker movie, although it's got absolutely abysmal reviews so far. So, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.